I built the greatest WW1 field guns only using Lego pieces. I will represent the armies of Germany, France and of course Great Britain. On top of that, I will present all the armies in 3 completely different custom Lego builds. Please hit that like button and let me know in the comments down below which of these 3 builds your favorite was. So let's get it started. Let us start with the exciting news. All 3 field guns which you will see in the video are from now on available at our website called bricksofvalor.de. Beside the 3 individual kits, we offer a field gun collection bundle deal at which you can save 20% at our completely brand new products. Our new Frontline Firepower are affordable starter kits with big impact, so if you ever wanted to try out Bricks of Valor, this is your perfect opportunity. Your support directly supports the channel and helps making more videos like this one. Thank you. The first gun I want to present you today is the German 10 cm Kanone K17. The model features turnable wheels and of course a movable gun barrel. So let's build a mock this model deserves. I've started by laying down 2 16 by 16 plates as base of the mock. I've then continued by adding these modified bricks all over the sides. These modified bricks will allow me in a second to attach all of these freeform parts, which really add a lot to a mock in my opinion. So let's attach all the modules real quick. The technique I am using is called freeform technique. It allows you to create natural and organic borders instead of straight black ones. It definitely requires a large selection of different types of slope pieces in my opinion, because otherwise the border would look quite boring after some steps. As the Kanone 17 is a large field gun, the emplacement for it also needed to be quite big. I've therefore selected similar slopes to the ones I've used before for the border. To recreate the muddy battlefields of World War I, I've mainly used dark tan, but beside that I've also implemented some parts of dark brown as I really like the color and I think these 2 colors match wonderfully together. Once the overall layout was done, it was only time to tile everything off, and as you can see, these 2x3 wedge plates perfectly match the slopes. I kind of rediscovered my 1x4 curved slopes which I've used in my D-Day build a few years ago. These perfectly work to create the elevation between the upper part of the build to the lower part where the gun will be placed in. Beside the use of several types of slopes, I can also recommend implementing some smaller hills in your builds, as it don't look natural when the whole build is at the same level. And now this part of the build is done and we can finally add the first field gun of this video to our freshly made build. While placing the gun and its crew on the build, let me tell you some facts about this one. The German 10 cm Kanone 17 K17 was a field gun used by German army during World War I and into World War II. Designed to replace the older 10 cm K14, it features a longer barrel for increased range and better ballistic performance. The gun fired 105mm, also known as 10 cm shells, and had a maximum range of about 16 km, which was quite impressive for guns from this era. Built with a box trail carriage and lacking a shield in early models, it was used primarily for counter battery, fire and long-range bombardment. Some remained in service with the Wehrmacht during the early years of World War II, often as coastal defense and secondary artillery. As you can see, my version features a shield, which is a sign that this is a later staged model. While telling you all these facts about the Kanone 17, I completely forgot to talk about the build which we have made. As you can see, I've implemented a small puddle in the meantime. These were typically seen on World War I battlefields caused by heavy rain. The build slowly is taking shape. All the features I've wanted to implement are already here. Only the groundwork has to be done, and as you can see, I've again implemented some small spots of dark brown. Beside that, I've used like usual tiles and plates to cover all of the ground details. The current frame perfectly visuals why I've used the freeform technique for this World War I build. It helps a lot to create the chaotic battlefield of World War I. All what is missing now are the French opponents as well as some smaller details. I've wanted to recreate the French attack at the German field gun position, and the Germans are nearly to lose their gun. You are probably wondering what this guy is doing with the minifigures, and yeah, I've took them apart because I think these positionings are quite realistic. I've also added 2 buckets to the German position which were used to get the water out of their trench. Beside that, I've added these bigger shells which were used for the gun. As you can see in the background, one German soldier is already loading the next shot of the gun. The last detail are some burned out shells already fired by the gun. Now just wanted to add some barbed wire which was commonly used during World War I, but this one is destroyed by the French soldiers. The German soldiers desperately trying to defend their gun, but there are coming more and more French soldiers. Our next field gun is the British QF 13-pounder shrapnel. It was primarily used during World War I. It fired 13-pound shrapnel shells designed to burst in the air and scatter level steel balls over enemy troops. With a range of about 5.9 kilometers, it was mounted on a light fast carriage and used mainly by the Royal Horse Artillery to support cavalry units. Its rapid fire capability and mobility made it ideal for engaging exposed infantry, though it was later supplemented by high explosive shells as trench warfare reduced the effectiveness of shrapnel fire. I've decided to go with a rounded morgue to display this little gun, and I think this perfectly works for it. The 2 British soldiers bring their gun into position. For the final build I have something different in mind. The border will be a smooth surface, however I've decided to implement some rock details into there. And here's how I did it. At first I've placed this modified 1x1 brick at the top, and the height of it is very important for the next step. I've stacked 2 cheese slopes onto a 1x2 plate which perfectly ends up with the modified brick. The slopes allow me to implement the typical formation of rocks into the border. I've therefore used the exact same piece in dark bluish gray. Once I've placed the brick next to the construction, the friction perfectly holds everything in place. Now I have explained the whole technique to you, so let's implement 2 more rocks into the border. To include some variation, I've also designed different shapes of the rocks, but always use the same pieces. Even though I've mainly used only plain bricks for the border, I think this one definitely looks very interesting by using the dark bluish gray pieces. To round the slope design up, I've added some plates on top of them. As you won't see the left and right of the final build, I've decided to only use this technique for the frontal part. As I want to add a crater to the build at the left back corner, I first added these 4x8 dark tan plates and then filled everything off by using 1x1 plates. The technique is quite simple, but always creates some nice looking craters. Next I've raised the rest of the build by using at first filler bricks and added then these bigger green plates to it. I recommend using bigger plates when covering gaps, especially when you raise your builds, as it saves a lot of time. While building the final mock, let me tell you some facts about the 15 cm schwere Feldhaubitze 13. It was Germany's standard heavy field howitzer of World War I. Introduced in 1913, it replaced the older schwere Feldhaubitze 2 and offered improved range and firepower. It fired 149 mm high explosive shells up to about 8.5 kilometers, making it effective for destroying enemy trenches and fortifications. The gun used a box trail carriage and hydrospring recoil system, and it became the backbone of German heavy artillery during the war. Many remained in service into the interwar years and even saw limited use early in World War II. My build depicts a German attack during the early stages of the war. I've decided to go with small grass field, as you don't see a lot of these in World War I builds, as most of the people are building these muddy trenches. Beside the crater I've used tiles as well as some plates for the ground details. Most of the mock is done, only the most important thing, which is the howitzer, is missing, as well as an ammunition crate and of course the soldiers which man the gun. They are wearing the famous Pickelhaube, which was originally introduced in 1842 by the Prussian army, but it still was used by the Germans in the early stages of World War I. And here's our third and final mock. Don't forget to tell me which of these 3 builds your favorite was, and feel free to tell me some future video ideas for World War I front build in LEGO. Don't forget to like and subscribe, check Bricks or Valor for these kits, and see you next time. Bye bye.